I'm out of breath. I had to run in here.
Yeah, way to wait till the last second to get this one set up, man.
That's awesome. Hey, Reddy, I'm Shane.
I'm Lex. How you doing?
You know, Adam Carolla said when he was in Loveline, he knew that he was really late when he would hear the theme song to Loveline start, and he was still pulling into the parking garage. Anyway, yeah, we're going to talk about using the file copy method today to copy files to your target machines. This will include, you know, regular
files
and
directories.
shortcuts. So we'll see if we can't nail them all. And if you have any questions, by all means, submit them, and we will ignore them right away. Okay, let's jump into it. So I guess we have a question.
Why, when using file copy to copy a shortcut, the actual end result is the exe referred to in the shortcut link copied. For example, to the desktop. I'm
Okay.
having trouble
So
doing
yeah, no worries. So it looks like, hey Larry, it looks like what you're asking. This is a known issue with the file copy step. We're gonna remedy this. I'm not quite sure what we're gonna do, whether it's including a shift key or something. But basically, what you're saying is this.
When you go to select that, we're basically following the link to the exe
Yeah.
of what's actually happening.
Well, actually, so yes, precisely. We're following a shortcut file instead of actually selecting that shortcut file. Here's an example of that. So I'm going to create a new package, a new step. We'll call this file copy, lose the install step. And what you're saying is you're going to go into, let's go out here to our desktop, go to, let's say that we want to follow this. You know, it's going to actually try to follow that to the exe, which doesn't work unless the exe is there, and then it will actually just take you to that folder. So when you are copying a shortcut, whether it's a .lnk or .url, and remember, an LNK resolves to something on, you know, either your local network or your machine. It's going to be a C or D drive or a UNC whack something on your server, and a URL goes out to the web.
Yep.
When you're going to copy those, it's best to actually type them in. So, you know, for example, let's say that I wanted to copy PDQ inventory. You can, if you zoom out for a moment there, JJ. Let's say that you can see there's this PDQ inventory shortcut right here. If I wanted to select that, I could go, you know, if I were to go to C, users, public,
desktop.
Actually, it looks like that's in, let's do deploy. If I were to do deploy, that's going to actually resolve straight to the deploy console exe. So what you're going to want to do in that case is actually, when it comes to a shortcut at this point, we're asking that you just go ahead and type it in. Yeah, so we'd say, so you could say something like, this is the name of the computer is Guinness, and users, public, desktop, and then you'd go, it's PDQ deploy .lnk. That's what you're going to want to do. Of course, you could have copied in a copy and paste for the path, but at this point, when you're copying shortcuts, don't select the shortcut in the using this little ellipsis button, using the file selector. We will fix that in a coming release, just so you know. But for right now, just type in the path. Hopefully that will take care of that, because once you type in the path, you can actually see. I'm going to close this out. We've got a package right here that does the same thing. Notice I actually said I'm going to copy a URL, which is a shortcut, and I just had to type that in. Same with Firefox, which we'll show you here in a moment. So those were just copied in, as opposed to selected. When you want to select a file that's not a shortcut, then you can use the file selector. All right. I hope that answers that question.
Yeah.
Just type it in.
Yeah. Yeah. That's another question. When copying a shortcut with a custom icon, the icon doesn't seem to copy with the shortcut. Can you show us how to create a shortcut with a custom icon and copy it to a machine? Todd, odds are you're probably copying that shortcut to a machine that doesn't have that exe on it. And so you're going to get that default Windows, shortcut kind of a
Correct.
Icon.
In fact, we can even demonstrate that if you want.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's look at. Let's see. Let's look at Firefox. Let's go to.
Find a machine that doesn't have Firefox.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I'm going to go to PDQ inventory real quick, and then we're going to go to find machines that don't have Firefox installed. Okay, so it looks like iCal does not have Firefox. All right, so I'm going to remote desktop to iCal real quick.
And then we'll deploy the shortcut only.
Yeah, that sounds good. So we've got once again, we've got a package here. What this package does, we'll walk through it real quick, and we'll answer this question for you. First thing we're going to do is copy a URL. This is copying to the public directory, or basically the home desktop, or the main desktop, I'm sorry, all users desktop. So we've got these out in, we've got these shortcuts that we created. They're out in a folder called Webcast, public desktop. And you can see we've got Admin Arsenal homepage. That's a .url. Now remember, when you're looking at a shortcut, you're not going to see the extension. You won't see a .lnk for link. You won't see a .url. You just have to know this resolves to a, you can always go to properties and say, oh, this, in general, this is a URL. That way because it's very important, you have to specify the extension. And then in apps, I copied Firefox over. Notice I don't have Firefox here. That's why you're seeing that
generic icon.
That generic icon, okay. Because I don't have Firefox installed, at least on the 32-bit. On the 64-bit, we'll see. So let's copy that over. And so let's find a machine that does have Firefox. Yeah, we'll do
Cunningham.
Let's do Cunningham.
Okay.
Okay. So I think we've got a remote session for Cunningham open. So Cunningham does have Firefox. We will deploy.
iCal does not.
And iCal does not. So we'll deploy that. We'll see if we can iCal.
Cunningham.
So what we should see here, we should see that iCal shows the generic icon because it's not resolving to
an exe.
Yeah, an exe that exists. Whereas with Cunningham it should. So we'll see what's going on. It's still connecting.
Dun, 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 dun. You gonna punch me if I keep doing the Jeopardy music?
No.
You probably should.
Do we have a problem here? What's going on?
Probably.
Knowing our luck today.
Well, we did start out on a good note, didn't we?
Yeah.
If you recall, let's see if we have a problem. These are stuck in connecting. If you recall from previous webcasts, we have a test run as. I'm sorry, we created it. Let's do this. We create a test package. We recommend that you do. And all this package does is runs a command step.
Basic command step, and we're going to run a dir just so we can.
Just a dir command. This is a way you can test your deployments to make on machines, and you don't actually have to make a change to the machine. So we'll just select maybe Costanza and
Gene.
Sorry,
Gene.
Perfect, Carla. I want to see if there's if this deploys at all.
Any type of connectivity issue.
So we're being stuck in a connecting state. So we want to check to see what our background service is running. It's running Quintana. So what we're going to do is actually, he's still stuck in connecting. Yeah, we're going to stop our deployment service. Sorry about this, guys. Going to close the console. And let's open up deploy again.
Well, some basic troubleshooting today.
Yeah, right. We should have actually done a deployment from this to make sure we're working. Did the yeah, looks like we're having a problem starting the service. So let's come in here. So if we were to start it, what's going on? Oh, okay.
Oh, it's running now. Let's redeploy that test. So we do the most professional webcast on the internet. That's right. When we test live. Well, that's odd. It's interesting. We have network connection to remote into a machine, but we're having trouble deploying.
No, actually, we're not. This isn't even getting to that machine. This is an issue with actual deploy because it's not making the connection to anything. Boy, sorry guys. Stick with us. We're going to fix this. So it's stuck on connecting. We're going to take a quick peek here. And we're using deploy 6 release 2.
Again, here's some good troubleshooting in the event that this happens to you.
PDQ deploy, login failure.
Ooh, username and bad password.
So we're going to come in here.
Reset our credentials, maybe?
Yep. Let's go back to credentials.
Cortana.
Edit.
I'm going to mouth the password. Don't know what it is. I'm just kidding. There we go. Test credentials worked out. Stop and restart.
Now let's try this. Let's just try it right to Carla here.
Wow. Note to self.
There we go.
Check this out before we
Somebody
start
must
the
have changed that
webcast.
password.
Jeez.
Sorry, guys. Okay, so let's go back over here. We're going to look at copy these files to the desktop.
Let's just redeploy those.
We're going to redeploy. So what we should see, copy URL. So once again, iCal does not have it. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. So
There's
you
the admin arsenal URL.
There's the URL. Back up. Sorry, JJ.
All
All right. So now
just moving
Firefox.
windows all over the place.
Notice, yeah. Those are your point. Firefox. If we were to try to go to properties, it's going to say, yeah, it's expecting program files x86, Mozilla, etc. That's the problem. Okay. Whereas with Cunningham, now I'm going to open this up, JJ.
Yeah. Thanks for the
There's
heads up.
Cunningham. Notice Cunningham, it does have Firefox.
Yeah.
Because Firefox exists, or more appropriately, this path exists on the target. Okay? So that's probably what you're seeing. If you see the default, as Lex said, the default icon, that means that it, for whatever reason, it cannot resolve to the file that shortcut is pointing to.
Yep.
Okay, let's
Got a bunch more
go ahead.
questions. Let's do questions. In regards to the file copy step, if I add one file, that does not exist, does it overwrite the existing files, delete the rest of the files in that folder, or only if there's an existing file named the same one?
Does that get over? Okay, so if basically you're saying, if you have overwrite existing files and you're only copying one file,
Does it nuke everything else in the directory?
The answer is no.
No.
What that means is overwrite existing files. That just means if you're copying a file of the same name to the same path, it basically if there's a file if there a file or files that already exist with that name, do you want to overwrite them? So if there's 3 files in a folder, and
You're sending one, it'll just look at that one specifically.
yeah, you're sending and you say overwrite existing files, and there's a machine that has 2 of those files but not another one. It'll only copy it'll copy all 3 of them, but it won't delete. Okay, just so you know, we can demonstrate if we want to demonstrate that we can, but the answer is no. You should be fine. Overwrite existing only means to handle files that exist already.
Yep.
It's important when you like, for example, let's say we recommend this. Let's say you've got a file server out there, and you've got maybe a public desktop. These are for example, here's a use case. You want to have certain files that are certain shortcuts or files that are present on every single user's public desktop. You place those shortcuts, create those shortcuts, and place them out there on this file server. And then if you update, maybe you want to change the path to this one, and deploy it, that's where you want to have the update or overwrite existing files, because if a machine already has, in this case, the admin arsenal homepage URL, it'll overwrite the existing one. If you don't have that checked, it'll see, oh, this already exists, and it won't overwrite it.
Skip over it. Yep.
It's just a safety precaution. It's just a safety
Works
issue.
the same for directories.
Yeah. So we can actually, if we want to demonstrate that real quick. So we've got, admin arsenal homepage. That takes you to admin arsenal. Now, if we were to, modify this, the properties, and say PDQ, is that PDQ deploy? Is that one, JJ? Does that go? PDQ dash deploy?
Just test it. Click on
Yeah,
it.
let's find out. Okay,
Okay.
so
Good.
here's the deal. Now I'm going to do an example. I'm going to copy, this is Cunningham, so I'm going to copy this copy file as the public desktop. All right, I'm opening that up. Notice I don't have overwrite existing files. So what should happen when I deploy this to Cunningham is it should not overwrite
that.
Which means on Cunningham this will still go to adminarsenal.com home.
True. And the other great thing is we do track that in the logs. Actually, when this is done, we'll pop this up so you can
Okay.
see what exactly happened with the file copy there.
So we'll go ahead and run this. Notice it still goes to home.
Yep.
Do you see that? Now let's change it. Close this.
Let's go open the log file real quick.
Okay. If you click on the 3 steps, and you'll see we have some output logs. And notice we have 3 steps. One is, number 2 and 3 are copy the Firefox shortcut, but because Firefox is a 32-bit app, on the 64 machines it goes into a different directory. That's why I've got 2 different steps.
Yep.
So here we can click on this one, and it says that there was a file skipped,
Yep.
right?
The one that we were trying to copy was skipped.
Because we didn't have overwrite. So now we're going to change this to say for copy URL, overwrite existing files.
Yep.
And now we're going to redeploy to Cunningham.
And as expected, it should overwrite that file. We will see it in the log and then also be able to click on the icon and go to the new page.
So now this should take us to adminarsenal.com/PDQ deploy. And it didn't.
We're batting 1,000 today, man. Here's to us.
Cheers. Who wrote this piece of crap anyway?
JJ, we need more scotch.
I don't have much left.
Should we update that or refresh it?
Not a bad idea. No, didn't do it. We did, this is the one we changed, right?
Maybe.
I hope so, man. Wow, we are going. Wow. This is impressive. We're failing epically today.
Nope, here's what we're going to do. Maybe we just found an issue with URL. So I'm just going to create a text document. I'm going to call this one,
You gonna do this
hello.
in Cunningham? Or do you
Yeah.
want to do it in the web?
No, we're gonna do it here.
replace there. Okay.
This is the original. This is called hello.
Onion.
Yeah. little Arrested Development throughout.
But
Okay.
before you go too far, man, let's make sure that's on the public desktop so that we can hit the right
Thank
file.
you very much. That's a good call.
I can see us really swinging hard for the fence and going down bad. Let's put that on public desktop.
All right. So on public desktop, we're going to say hello, move. Okay. So it's being moved to the public desktop now. And this, once again, you open it up, it says original. All right. Now, we're going to come out here to this same webcast directory, public desktop, and we're going to create a new file called hello.
That's an original name.
That's
huh?
a throw out to Archer, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll call this one the second copy. All right. So now we're going to come over.
That is so
Shut up.
obvious. I love it. I love it.
Now we're going to create a new. We're just going to create a new package here. New step of file copy. Mm-hmm.
I know what we need to name this.
What's that?
Redemption. It's
It's too late.
too late for redemption for us.
So we're going to copy hello.txt. Now, obviously, you can create the whole directory here. Or maybe you can't. Maybe everything's broken. And remember, when you do a variable here, it's going to resolve that variable on the target machine.
On the target machine, yeah.
So public is the all users directory, effectively. We'll do
Desktop.
Target folder is public desktop. Now, we're not going to overwrite. So when we deploy, oops, let's rename that.
Redemption. Or not.
That's how I spell redemption. It's copy hello.
Copy hello.
And we're going to
At least it's not
Cunningham.
Rolaids.
Shut up. Now we're going to copy this out. I need more scotch.
Yeah. Yes, I do. You do too.
So what we're expecting, we didn't say overwrite. Let me just refresh that. Hello should still say original. There it is. Now,
Game on.
let's go ahead and
Cross our
change.
fingers.
Let's go ahead and
Maybe we
change
can
this to
do this today.
overwrite existing files.
Wow.
This time, let's check the the log file to see if it actually works before we check the file.
Well, this is what happens when Shane creates a deployment
Right.
3 seconds before we start.
3
All
seconds
right,
before
so I
we
did
go,
copy
yeah.
that one. So this is the second copy because we overwrote that one. So maybe we'll have to check to see if it's if
Or path. I don't know.
yeah, maybe there's something wrong with his homepage that we're URL PDQ deploy. Oh no, I don't know what the hell.
I don't know.
Oh well,
We'll figure it out.
no, we won't.
No, we might.
We'll say
Maybe
we
we'll
will.
do a blog post on it.
Don't
And then we'll ignore
care.
We'll say we'll figure it out. And then
Yeah,
ignore
we'll
it.
look at, maybe there's an issue with URL, so we'll look at that and dig into it and see if
Yeah.
there's a problem with that. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Do we have another question?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. I don't know if we can take any more embarrassment today.
Go ahead.
Is it possible to use a
I'll read. let's make this
we're
less
gonna-
painful.
less painful for
Is
the
it
end
possible to
user?
use a variable for the logged on user, for example, to create a shortcut only on his desktop? Hi, Timo. Thank you for asking that. I don't know. Let's find out. Everything sucks so far. Yeah. Okay. So here's what you're going to want to do. If you want to use the, if you want to copy to a shortcut only on a user's desktop, it has to be the logged on user. All right, because that unless you know the username and you want to hard code that path, if you want to use a variable, as you'd mentioned, what you're going to need to do. Let's try this. We're going to remove hello from the all users desktop. All right, on Cunningham. Now we're going to come back over here to our copy hello, and we're going to change that from public to I think we can do home path. And what is home
There's a
path?
H in home path, my friend.
What is home path? If you, I'm gonna open up this window here. If you want to zoom out, and remember, this is how you can always test your variables. Number one, you can always just hit set, and then hit enter, and that will show you a bunch of variables. But you can also say, echo home path, and that should take you. This is I'm the user Quintana. So if I were to say, if I wanted to go to, just as an example here, if I wanted to go to the Quintana desktop, I could say cd to home path.
The H is escaping you today.
What the hell? Home path desktop. And that should take me there. You can see now the directory is set to Quintana desktop.
Yep.
All right. So that's how you can do it. But remember, there's one thing. We're going to say copy this to home path desktop, but then you have to come over to options, and you have to say run as logged on user.
If you don't, it's going to put that file on the credentials that you're using to deploy's desktop.
Yeah,
as
so
opposed to your
if we did the
logged-on
deploy user, I'm running this as Quintana, it would actually copy that to the Quintana desktop. But then whenever I do a logged on user step, I do like to come over here to the conditions and change the logged on state to only run this step if a user is logged on. Now we'll deploy out to Cunningham. So the Cunningham home path should be the dude. Okay, so it's users the dude. Just so you know, we're testing that. So now we're going to say copy hello to Cunningham, redeploy.
I got the scotch ready if it doesn't work for you, man. We'll pour a couple of fingers.
No worries. So there is hello, right? But how can we verify that that is, in fact, not in the public? Well, let's go to home path
Desktop.
on the target machine, yeah, desktop, and we see hello. Let's, to change that, let's go to public desktop, and we should not see hello in there, which we don't.
There you go.
So that's how you can do that. And then if a user's not logged on, like I'm going to log off of Cunningham right now, and then I'm going to redeploy. This should actually fail and say no steps were able to run because
Conditions, yeah.
the conditions weren't met.
Oh, there we go. Boom.
Yep, and if you look at that, make that a little wider there, you'll see conditions are not met. All right. That's how you can do that, Timo. I hope that answers your question.
We do have another one.
So remember the variables. Remember, variables are context sensitive.
Yep,
Home
yep.
path is a user level variable. So when you expand that, hey Tom, we like to put together a logoff icon on the user's desktops using this system room.
Huh?
System32 shutdown.exe /L. Is that something we can push using deploy? So you want to log off the users. Okay, so number one, system room. There's a system root, I think is probably what you meant.
SystemRoot, yeah. That's Annalisa.
Typo.
Blame her.
Tom. Annalisa,
You need a scotch too, Annalisa.
time for you to start drinking. Take up drinking, honey. Okay, so is that something we can push down? Yes. Obviously, shutdown has to exist on the target machine. So if that is a Windows exe, so it should exist. But let's find out. We're going to copy out to
iCal.
let's copy to iCal. Why not? New package. Let's see, you want to copy a shortcut to it. So here's actually, when you're copying a shortcut, here's what we recommend that you do. That you create that shortcut initially, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to, my system root, System32, and I'm going to go to log off, or shutdown, pardon me. And let's just go out to the webcast directory again, or, you would replace this yourself. And I'm just going to copy that out there, say create shortcuts here, and then rename that to
Log off.
log off.
And we'll go alter the call.
And let's see if we can do that. So we're going to go to properties. So it says, where does this run? It's, System32 /L. All right. So now we've got the log off. And what we're going to do is create a new. So I'm going to minimize that. JJ, I'm going to close some
Copy that
windows.
path, man. Make it easy on yourself.
That's a good call.
So many windows open.
Sorry, JJ. Open up public. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. Thank you. So we're going to create a log off, right?
Yep.
Create a new step called file copy. Lose that original install step. And the source, since we're doing a URL, or since we're doing a shortcut, we're going to just copy that. We're going to type it in. And we call it logoff.lnk. Remember, you have to do the .lnk in this case. And the target folder, public desktop. Well, let's find out. And maybe this is having a I don't know. Everything could go wrong.
Stars
If there's an explosion in Salt Lake City, this didn't work.
Yeah.
We're going to go to iCal, right? Okay.
Prepare for another technical difficulty.
Once again, this is proof that we were actually live. And
This is proof that we're like, hey,
or,
where's
or
Logoff?
just inept. And
So
we
now I'm
just
going
wanna
to
show our-
go to
our
properties. There's the shutdown/L.
Excellent.
And if we were to run this, and just to make sure that this doesn't in fact reboot it, we're going to do a ping for iCal and -T. That means to just keep on going. Because if this does in fact shut down, which we obviously don't want,
We'll lose our ping.
so as long as this keeps on returning, perfect. Yeah. So yes, that'll
There you
work.
go,
You
man.
just have to create the shortcut. Copy it to a file share somewhere. Make sure in the source of that shortcut that you place your space /uppercase L for logoff, and then that should work for you. Yeah, rock on. Another question.
Bring it on.
I'm trying to dynamic collection who has a shortcut, but can't. Can we get an example of a scan profile setup and dynamic collection setup to see who has the shortcuts? Wow, we're getting deep. Yeah, do we have time for that, JJ?
Yeah, we got time.
Okay, so let's say let's go back to,
Gotta go to inventory for this one.
yeah, we're going to go to inventory, but let's open up inventory. I'm going to go to Cunningham. And we'll just do a quick test here. So let's say hello. Wait, I'm sorry. Was that question for shortcuts?
It was. Let's go for the admin arsenal.
Okay. So I'm going to just.
Page.
Yep, we'll copy that. Okay.
So here's the question, just a refresher.
Okay.
right,
Perfect.
yep.
Well, let's find out. I don't know that I've ever done a file scan for shortcuts, but we'll do it. We're going to create. So when you want to do a file scan, you have to either add to an existing scan profile or create a new scan profile. So in preferences, once again, this is in
Inventory.
We're going to go down to scan profiles. All right. We'll create a new one. Now you could add this to an existing one if you wanted, but we'll just create a new scan profile. Miscellaneous files. That way you can add additional files that you ever want to this. Now I always recommend, by the way, that you add computer details to your scan profiles. It's not required, but it's a very fast scan. Definitely just recommend it. Now we're going to do a files. Since we kind of know where this is going to exist, we don't have to say all disks. We're going to
Yeah.
actually say,
That'll actually speed up the scan instead of scanning the entire disk.
yeah,
You
we'll just say
to go check for the public desktop.
public desktop, and since we expect it to be, we don't have to look for all subdirectories. And it is adminarsenal.url. All right, and you could do,
Splat.
yeah, you could do asterisks for wildcards, etc. So you could actually just do a splat.url, and it will grab any URL on the public desktop. Let's find out. Now we're going to go to Cunningham, which has this, and then we're going to go to Debrick, which should not. And we're going to scan. Now, what do we scan with?
Our miscellaneous files.
That's right. We scan with that scan profile. Okay, so Cunningham, if we go to Files, yep, there it is. There's the adminarsenal.com or adminarsenalhomepage.url, so it does show up there. But Debrick should not have that. Yep, there's nothing in there.
Nothing in the files.
So what we're going to do is create, to the next part of your question, we're going to create a new dynamic collection. Machines with the admin arsenal shortcut. And since it's very simple, we just have to use one group filter, all. And we'll change that to file. And the name, you can do contains or starts with or whatever, or equals adminarsenal.url. And if you want to do the path, you could add the path as well, but we'll just do that for right now. And Cunningham shows up in there.
There you go.
Now, if you wanted to say machines that didn't have that, let's do a new dynamic collection, or let's duplicate this
Yeah, I
one.
was going to say copy it. It's much quicker.
And we're going to say machines without the admin arsenal shortcut. And we would still have the exact same filter there, a name equals adminarsenal.url, but we're going to change this to like not any. At this point, you also would want to, well, let's say not any. You'd want to also add something in there to say the computer has to have been scanned before. Otherwise, if you have a lot of machines that haven't been scanned. So let's see, Cunningham should be removed from here. Yep, there is no Cunningham. We're looking at this from, alphabetical. So you can see it goes from Cyclops to the brick. There is no Cunningham there. And
There you go.
yeah, there you go. So that's how you do it. You just change that to not any.
And Cyclops, but yeah.
Yeah, actually, it would go between Costanza and Cyclops. Sorry. Hopefully that answers your question. So you have to, add a new scan profile, or if you wanted, if you don't want to create a new scan profile, because once again, if you create a new scan profile, you have to make sure that all the machines are scanned with that. If you wanted to, just really quick, you could have just gone to miscellaneous files. You could have just copied this. And let's say you want to do this to your standard, right? Then you could just paste that in there, and it's going to do a file in your standard scan profile. And then any machine that gets this will also scan. So that's a way to not get confused with multiple scan profiles. One more question?
Can you do this to program shortcuts on the taskbar? For example, I want all users to have Outlook pinned. Bethany.
Hi, Bethany. I have never done that before. I know that is per user.
If you can find the location of where that's stored,
Yeah,
you'll be able to put it in there.
The answer is I don't know. Probably you'd have to do it as logged on, and there'd have to be some command or something that you would run to say pin this to the taskbar. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm sorry, Bethany.
Never tried it.
I would Google that. Just say how do I, a command like CLI to pin shortcut to taskbar or something. So. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I don't know that one. If you do it, once again, Bethany, since the taskbar is per user, you would have to do what we had talked about earlier, and that is run as logged on user. Do we have any other questions?
No, that's it for questions.
All right. Sorry about technical difficulties. If you're still here, well, I'm sure there's three or four of you still there. Thank you. And if you guys have, if you have any questions, you can always throw down to our support forums. What's the if they want to send an email or a question just for the webcast? What's that email, JJ? Do you know?
It's webcast@adminarsenal.com.
Yep, webcast@adminarsenal.com.
Excellent. Yeah.
Because we actually did get a few questions that were sent in
Early, which was nice.
Yeah. So throw down if you ask those questions early, then we'll make sure to get to them. I know there are a lot of webcasts where there's a lot of questions that we just don't have time to get to. Anyway, I'm Shane.
I'm Lex.
Rock on.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Oh, we made it. If you have any, if you had your question featured during the webcast, if you will email me at webcast@adminarsenal.com so I can get that swag sent out to you. And if you had more questions or wanted to go a little deeper with some of the questions you had asked, you can always hit up support.adminarsenal.com as the guys just said. And we'll see you guys next Thursday.